Hey guys! In this video, I'll be giving my advice and some tips for people who don't know how to draw and want to get started making consistent art that they are proud of. Before I get started, I would just like to say a little disclaimer. I am not by any means a professional. I would say I'm still pretty amateur, so take this advice as you will. If it works for you, that's great. If it doesn't work for you, then there are many other avenues and many other ways to do things. This is just my advice and my recommendations for how to do things when you're just starting out. Okay, so before I share the first little tip and bit of advice, I would just like to share a very short story of my own about why I started drawing. So I went to school with this girl for many years, and in class I would always see her drawing like wolves and animals and cats. She was very much a cat warrior kind of girl, and I would see her reading those books all the time, and when I saw her drawings, I was just like, wow, I wish I could do that. And honestly, I was kind of jealous. So I guess I kind of got into drawing for spiteful reasons, because I don't know, I was like, I need to know how to do that. I need to know how to do that. And so I started drawing. It was very objectively very bad, but every artist starts out that way, and honestly I wouldn't change things for the world. And that kind of rolls over into my first point. Do it because you want to and because you have fun doing it. If you never have fun drawing, then you're doing it wrong and you're not in it for the right reasons. Obviously, there are going to be moments where you kind of dread doing it because, I don't know, every hobby is just kind of like that, I think, where you get tired of it and it kind of becomes a chore for a moment. And I touched on this in, I think, my second video, but it becomes dreadful sometimes, and those moments suck because it's something that you love to do, but it just, it's not appealing at the time. And that's okay, because you will have those moments, but just equip yourself and prepare yourself to get through those. It can be very difficult to start new hobbies in the age of social media because you are exposed to so many people who do what you do, who might have a higher skill level than you. This can be very demotivating because constantly you're comparing yourself to what you see online, and it's a very bad habit. I do it. I'm sure the best artists in the world do it. And it's really all about your mindset. You really have to take time to be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself, because every drawing is a learning experience. Even if you think the end result comes out bad or ugly, etc., you learn from it. And I recommend that you ask yourself a few questions for your next drawing, like, what can I focus on next time? Or what would I like to do differently next time? There is a fine line that you play limbo with if you want to improve at a pretty fast rate. You have to be self-critical, but also understanding and patient. And if that sounds overwhelming, that's because it definitely can be. If what I said just now overwhelms you or makes you anxious in any way, then just do your own thing. Because ultimately, progress will come over time. And that is the number one thing. It will happen. You just have to be patient. And I feel like that's why a lot of people are hesitant to start drawing, because it is something that takes years of dedication, and anybody who tells you otherwise is lying. So I'm giving you the facts. It's gonna take you a long time, but you will see progress in every single drawing, and that is a guarantee. So just stick with it and stay motivated. Art supplies do not matter at all. Use whatever you have lying around or whatever you have access to. Of course, you can always go and buy more expensive supplies or more professional ones, especially as your skill improves. But just starting out, I recommend you stick with the simple stuff like pencils and colored pencils. If you have a phone or a tablet, you can always draw on that. If you want to do digital art, there are plenty of free art programs that you can download, or for about $14 you can get the same program that I use and that I'm using right now and that you've seen me use in my other videos, which is Procreate. You can get a stylus off of Amazon, and I think you can get styluses at Walmart as well. I recommend just like going to Google and typing in like Apple Pencil dupe, and there are tons of styluses that you can get. The quality of those, I'm not sure about those, but just read reviews on stuff like that, and I'm sure you will get something that is pretty decent. If you have a laptop, there are some pretty cheap Wacom tablets that you can use. If you don't know what Wacom is, it's a brand of like drawing tablet. They are, I would say they're like the biggest in the business, besides maybe like Huion. Like I said, if you have a laptop, you can hook a tablet up to that. And there are way more options for programs on PC. I like to use Krita. It is completely free, and I use that with my little Wacom tablet. I think the one that I have is like somewhere in between $30 and $60. I'm not sure, I'll have to check. And if you want to use something like alcohol markers, I recommend getting the Cali Art markers from Amazon. I don't think they have a brush tip, but they are affordable. You can get 121 markers for about $42. At the time of me recording this, I think they're on sale right now because of Black Friday, but there are always coupons that you can get on there, so just look out for those. But of course, if you can afford something a bit more pricey, I will always push for people to get Ohuhu markers. They have brush tip and they're refillable. I love mine. I need to use them more, but they are great. They are, I would say, pretty affordable compared to like the high-end stuff, which are Copic markers or Copic markers, whatever you want to call them, which are ridiculously overpriced in my opinion. Ohuhu is way more affordable and the quality is the same. Connect to your art to keep motivation. I think that making and designing your own characters is a great way to stay motivated and excited about drawing. It's something that you can work on infinitely, and it's a great way to track your progress over time. If you ask any artist who has original characters how their characters started out, or like what their first design of their characters were, then you will probably see a huge change in their style and skill level. I know for me and my OCs that they started off very different than how they are now, and you can definitely see my skill improve significantly. I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but for me personally, I have a really hard time bringing myself to watch tutorials when it comes to art things. I don't know why, but I always try to force through things myself and like do them completely alone and figure it out myself. And I feel like that's kind of been destructive to me over the years while I've been trying to improve my art. So this next little tip is don't be afraid to reach out for help. Ask other people that you look up to tips on their style and progress and stuff like that. And here on YouTube, there are many amazing tutorials. Don't be afraid to watch them. For a long time, I was really stubborn about reaching out for help and using the resources that I had available, aka YouTube, to improve myself. And with that kind of leads me into my next big point, is to not be afraid to take inspiration from people that you admire. I know things can get a little dicey in the art community with who you take inspiration from and how much inspiration you should take. Obviously, I never ever support blatantly ripping off someone's style, because to a lot of people that means a lot to them. Like, if somebody was blatantly ripping off my art and how I draw things, I would be pressed, because like I said, it takes years to get to this point. So for you to just go and blatantly copy somebody, that is never ever something you should do. And that says a lot about you as a person. Now, what I will say is that I do think it is okay to trace over artwork to learn. Now, I want to be very specific about this. Never post that on social media. It is for learning purposes only. Now, if you've ever seen like master copies, if you don't know what that means, it's when somebody will copy a Renaissance painting, like almost to a T. And that is how a lot of people who do those really grand oil paintings get better at what they do, is by copying the master paintings. I would say that is completely okay. And I actually encourage for you to find whoever your favorite artist is, or artists, and study their styles and then make them into your own, because no style is original. Everybody finds inspiration from somewhere. So just keep that in mind whenever you are starting to think about and develop your own style. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, finding out what you like and what you don't like. It's a long process, but I promise you that you will get there eventually. I don't know if I've made this clear, but I'm gonna say this anyways. Consistency is your best friend. The more you draw, the more you will improve, the better you'll get, the easier it'll be. You really need to be consistent. A lot of people say to draw every single day. I don't even draw every single day. I just draw when I feel like it. But if you have like weeks where you're not drawing, I think that can be a bit much. So I would recommend drawing at least a few times a week at the minimum. The last main point that I want to talk about before I wrap this video up is to get involved in your community. I feel like this is one of the best things that I ever did, was making friends and mutuals with artists that I look up to, and a lot of my friends are artists. There are tons of communities on like Instagram, obviously TikTok if you use TikTok. There are tons and tons of Discord servers with really great art communities. I really recommend getting to know the people who love to do the same thing that you like to do. And there are lots of people who are willing to give you really good advice and tips just because they want to. And that's a really beautiful thing. You can learn a lot from the people in your community. Those are all of the points that I have for this video. If you have any tips or advice, please feel free to share them down in the comment section. I would love to start building a little community where we all help each other out with our art things. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more of my content, please consider subscribing. I post once a week, or try to. I know this video is one day late. Please give me a break. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on my Instagram at Echo Isn't Okay. By the way, my commissions are still open over there. If you would like to get a commission from me, it's in the pin post over there. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for 60 subscribers, by the way. That's actually insane. Thank you so much. There's still like a minute left of footage, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you next time.